let's get to the Rachel Maddow reaction, because you talk about the left-wing loons and how far they're taking it. Listen to her characterization of what the Supreme Court did.
The practical impact of what they have done is to give Trump immunity that even he and his counsel did not ask for. And given that the hypotheticals over the course of these arguments, as you rightly pointed out, included things like, can the president assassinate a rival? I think we have to look at the Supreme Court's affirmative answer to that. Yes, you can. With as much seriousness as it deserves. I mean, this is a death squad ruling. This is a ruling that says that as long as you can construe it as an official or quasi-official act, you can do absolutely anything.
Absolutely anything, including the death squads. I mean, this is to our earlier point, which is not true, because for most of the official acts, there will only be a presumption. It will be a strong presumption of immunity, but it will not be unpierceable.
Absolutely correct. And you know what? Where are these Democrats who are so concerned about the president being criminally prosecuted when you have a president of the United States sitting in office right now who is clearly corrupt, clearly compromised by over $20 million in foreign corruption to what seems like every Biden family member, right? And then you have a president who has not only indicted his leading presidential rival, Donald Trump, we have two top presidential advisors, Peter Navarro and Steve Bannon, sitting in federal prison right now for contempt of Congress after Trump asserted constitutional executive privilege going back 250 years to George Washington to prevent presidential aides from having to testify to courts or Congress. Biden and his Justice Department ignored that while they are giving amnesty to Hunter Biden, who ignored a congressional subpoena, was held in contempt after he did a drive-by press conference. And Merrick Garland, Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, ignored a subpoena, got held in contempt for covering up for his boss. Merrick Garland turned over the transcript of Biden's conversation with special counsel Rob Hur, but then made this legally frivolous claim of executive privilege that he can't turn over the tape after he already turned over the transcript. And then Merrick Garland went down to his office of legal counsel, one of his subordinates, and got a legal opinion, essentially a get out of jail free card, right? So I don't want to hear.
But honestly, this pairs perfectly, well, not perfectly, but it pairs with what Steve Bannon did and just reported to Danbury, Connecticut prison for. He too got a subpoena to appear in front of Congress. He objected, asserting executive privilege, got advice of an attorney saying that's the right thing to do. And Congress found him in contempt of Congress. All the same things as Merrick Garland. Only in one case, the DOJ prosecuted him and put him behind bars. And in the other, Merrick Garland, because he runs the DOJ, surprisingly, they had no interest in doing that.
Yeah, and Peter Navarro, the White House trade director. They put the White House trade. Peter Navarro is still in prison, while Hunter Biden, where there's zero claim of executive privilege, there's like crackhead son privilege. I'm not sure what it is, but he doesn't get prosecuted for contempt after his drive-by press conference, where he clearly was able to show up to the House that day. They got him out of the crack den, and he was able to go to the House that day, but he couldn't testify, right? Are you kidding me? And then, like you said, with Merrick Garland.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your point on Merrick.
I was going to say that on January 20th, 2025, we're going to find out if these same robots are going to be saying the mantra that nobody's above the law when the Trump 47 Justice Department prosecutes Hunter Biden for contempt and prosecutes Merrick Garland for contempt.
So because the congressional House Republicans are now pursuing in civil court an order that would compel Merrick Garland to fork over the audio tape of Joe Biden in his consultation or his interview with special counsel Robert Hur, saying that, because the objection on paper was, we don't want AI to make replicas of the president's voice and use it again. It was such a nonsense objection. The president's voice is everywhere. They can, if AI gurus want to take the president's voice and create a version of it, I'm sure they've already done it. They don't need the Robert Hur audio tape. This is very, very clearly a political objection. They know what's on that tape, I think, is going to sound very much like what we heard at that debate And they have the attorney general doing the president's bidding to try to keep it away from the electorate before the election. So do you think that this district court will order the production of the audio tape?
Yeah, yes. And if they don't, the appellate court will, because they established very clearly under the Trump administration that Congress has these powers. And so now these precedents from under the Trump administration are going to come back and bite these Democrats in the ass. And we were talking about that. There's also the Fisher case, the 18 USC 1512 obstruction of an official proceeding that deals with the destruction of evidence or the hiding of evidence. This might actually apply to this particular case because the attorney general is hiding evidence from Congress. And that's a felony under the Fisher, under the 18 USC 1512. And then he's conspiring with others to hide this evidence, conspiracy, obstruction of official proceeding. I mean, these cases that are in Trump's favor now may be very much needed by President Biden and Merrick Garland and these others who are pretending nobody's above the law.
I agree with that. This July 4th, as we celebrate the birth of our nation, it's important to reflect on the freedoms our forefathers fought for. But today, these freedoms are under attack. Look no further than the treatment of President Trump and the lawfare we're seeing this year. That's why now more than ever, we need organizations that are fighting back. AMAC is the Association of Mature American Citizens, and this is more than just a senior discount organization. AMAC is dedicated to protecting conservative values and defending our rights. Just listen to the way they talk about themselves in this ad copy. They're not afraid. They're ready to fight and to stand up for conservative values, unlike some other senior organizations, okay? You can learn more about how AMAC is actively fighting for your freedom by visiting amac.us/Megyn. By joining AMAC, you're not just becoming a member, you're becoming part of a movement. This July 4th, stand united. Join AMAC today and ensure that your voice is heard. amac.us/MEGYN. Together, Americans can make a difference. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.